Welcome to the National Catholic College Admissions Association and Jesuit Excellence Tour Virtual College Fair. We're so excited to have you participating in this event. We have some fantastic schools here with us today. My name is Anna and I'll be your facilitator. Before we get started, a few housekeeping items. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the schedule on the website. And this presentation is being recorded and will be available at strivescan.com/NCCAA. And now I'd like to turn it over to our presenters. Take it away.
Hi, everyone. My name is Claire Hollis. I am the admission counselor from Bennington College. I'm just kind of going to be the one flipping through the slides. Holly, Martha, and Angie are here presenting with us just on studying and learning abroad in general. So I'll begin by sharing my slides, and each of us will kind of give a broad overview of just studying abroad in general, and then each of us will go into our particular colleges and universities, give a little bit of detail, and then we want to open it up for some Q&A. So feel free to drop questions in the chat, as well as that way we can answer those at the end. But like I said, we'll get started here. If you ladies want to introduce yourself, just for your the college or university you're representing, as I kind of get this set up.
Sure, I'm Holly Cameron. I'm from Mary Immaculate College in Limerick in Ireland. Hi, everyone.
And I'm Angie Alama. I'm with Loyola University Chicago. Hi, everyone.
My name is Martha Martinez, and I'm with the University of Navarra in Spain.
Great, so I will pull this up. Like I said, feel free to drop any questions you guys have in the chat, as well as feel free to screenshot anything that you guys want to see. We'll have lots of information that we won't necessarily cover everything, but that way you guys can see it. I will let Angie, I believe, start.
Yes. So whenever we were putting together this presentation, we thought that the first thing that would be important to talk about is why study abroad is important. There are a plethora of reasons why you may choose to study abroad, but these were just some of the different reasons that we narrowed down. First and foremost, travel the world and develop a new worldview. Now, I know working for a Jesuit institution, one of our major tenets is to develop a global perspective. And what better way to do that than to study abroad? Also, experience personal growth and explore your heritage. Speaking from a personal point of view, my father is Nigerian, and even though I grew up living in America, he made a point to take me with him to whenever he traveled to his home country so that I would have that experience. And it certainly played a major role in my formative upbringing. Next is to improve marketability for employment in grad school. Now, this applies to pretty much any major, but I'm going to use business as an example. Business is an international language, so certainly it behooves you to understand how business works internationally or in several different countries rather than just America. I know that a major question that comes up is, how will I fund my study abroad experience? And a lot of students count themselves out because they feel like they might not be able to afford it, when in fact, a lot of schools offer scholarships and financial aid options that can make study abroad pretty affordable for most students. And last but definitely not, why should you study abroad? Why not? You get college credit while doing something you really love, which of course includes traveling the world. Now that we talked about why study abroad could be really a wonderful experience for you, the only question left to address is, where should you study abroad? And to tackle that is one of my wonderful co-presenters, Claire. So take it away, Claire.
Great, thank you, Angie. Yes, so like she said, a big part of first deciding why you should study abroad is then where to study abroad, because the whole world is at your fingertips, quite literally. So these are just some major questions to ask. Obviously, there's no right answer. It's really particular to each individual student. but things that you should kind of start to think about. When should you study abroad? So these are going to be questions like, is there a certain requirement for your major? For example, at Benedictine, nurses have to study abroad in the spring semester or in their sophomore year. So is there a particular time you have to study abroad? Will that limit where you're going? Can you study abroad as a freshman, or is it only open to upperclassmen at your particular college or university? So things to think about on where for that. How long do you want to study abroad? Are you interested in studying abroad all 4 years at a school that is international, or are you interested in studying for a full year or a semester, or maybe even just a spring break or a summer break or winter break? Because that's really going to influence what opportunities are available to you and trying to decide where you want to go. Another question to ask, where should you study abroad? Is there a particular place you're interested in studying? Are you looking at learning a particular language? Obviously, that's going to influence where you study abroad. If you're interested in learning Spanish, looking at a program in Spain or Mexico or any of a Southern American country. So having that kind of opportunity for you. Is there a particular culture interested in or anything like that? Next question to ask is, which program is right for you? Are you looking through your particular school or university? Do they have a program right there on their campus? Or are you going to be looking through, like, for example, ISEP? So that's going to be 42 different countries, 300 colleges and universities. They're going to be taught English or in other languages. So what kind of program is right for you? How much does it cost? That is a really big question to ask. Is it feasible to go for all 4 years or for a semester? Or are you really going to be looking at a paid position, internships, or anything like that? So thinking about those kind of questions. Finally, something very important for our students to think about, since you are first and foremost students, will your credits transfer if you're going to a university, going to a program that is not with your university? Will those credits come back to you at your university in America? Or what does that look like at a university abroad studying there for all 4 years? So these are just some big questions to think about when deciding where to study abroad. All of us will kind of highlight some individual programs later on that'll aid you in specific places to study abroad. But the next thing to really think about in particular is, are you a good candidate to study abroad once you've kind of thought about all these questions? So I'm going to pass that off to, I believe, Martha to answer those questions for you.
Thank you, Claire and Angie, for getting us started. So we really recommend going abroad, but we also recognize that it's not for everyone. So I think it's important to decide and to discern, both parent and student, if you are a good fit. So I think that all of us would agree that one of the most important things is that they have a spirit of adventure. So the people that really get the most out of study abroad are those that are really daring. They're willing to go out on a limb. They're willing to try new things. They're not so overwhelmed by the idea of the unknown. And so with that goes a great desire to travel. And as you guys know, when you travel abroad, there's a lot of little hiccups, a lot of little obstacles to overcome. And we feel like that's not a bug, that's a feature, right? That's a feature of studying abroad, because it's all those little obstacles, all the visas, all the steps you have to take that really form you and form that experience. It also has to be someone that's very passionate about new cultures. So someone who is a little bit set in their ways, a little bit timid, a little bit comfortable in their bubble may not be the right fit for a study abroad. It's someone who wants to try new foods, is really interested in trying out new languages, isn't afraid to speak new languages in front of someone else, even if their accent isn't perfect. Along with that, again, a higher than average threshold for risk. So again, we believe that the more that it can be on the student. So it shouldn't really be the parent doing all the work. It shouldn't be the parent that's applying. It shouldn't be the parent buying all the plane tickets. Like, leave that to the student, leave that to the person who's actually going to do the study abroad, because all of that, it really does serve as preparation for then being out there on your own, right? And trying to figure things out, because clearly there are going to be things that come along that you cannot foresee. And again, that is part of the process of the study abroad. And we really believe that that is maybe perhaps the most formative part, are the things that you don't take into account right away. And so again, an outgoing attitude, someone that's willing to make new friends, who can go out into a restaurant with new people and just travel by themselves, that they're not going to be calling mom and dad every 24 hours, just checking in, trying to ask how to do everything. Someone that is really willing to take that step. And in particular, a lot of our programs focus on Europe. And so for someone wanting to study in Europe, if they have a deep appreciation and almost like an awe of Western civilization, there's no better place in Europe, because you will get to, literally touch the ruins and go to all these places and just immerse yourself in the richness and the heritage that's available, thousands of years old, as opposed to us, right, with a more new world mentality in the United States. So we believe that all of these things, it really is more than just an accessory to your college experience. It is perhaps the most transformative thing that you can do during your college years. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Holly, and she's going to go over a little bit more about this whole growth pattern that you will get to see.
Thanks, Martha. Yeah, I think this slide is really important to look at really what the benefit will be for you of studying abroad, how you can use your experience when you go back home. And there are so many ways you can put what you've learned and experienced to use. So you'll be able to tell interviewers for jobs or grad school all about your engagement with interdependent global systems and their implications for people's lives and the Earth's sustainability at a higher level. You'll be recognized as being more informed, open-minded, socially and personally responsible, resilient, and attentive to cultural diversity across a spectrum of difference. You study abroad generally enhances students' sense of identity, community, ethics, perspective taking, and employers recognize and appreciate this. So from the next part, we're going to look at our own institutions and study abroad opportunities there. So Claire, if you'd go on to the next slide.
Yeah, like Holly said, we're all going to kind of speak about our individual institutions now. That way we have some examples for you guys to be able to look at individual programs that you're interested in, as well as feel free to ask us any questions in the chat. We'll be able to answer those specifically to the group, as well as any questions about general study abroad questions. So our first is going to be Holly.
Thanks, Claire. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Mary Immaculate College, where I work, and I was a student myself, and I studied abroad while I was a student at Mary Immaculate College as well. So if you go on to the next slide again there, Claire, please. I'll just show some images of where we're located in the Midwest of Ireland. So you can see on the map there where we are in the Midwest, where the red dot is, and we're the third largest city in Ireland, even though Limerick just has about 100,000 inhabitants. So it's still quite small and easy to settle in compared to some bigger cities around the world. So it's easy to get around in Limerick and to make friends as well. And Mary Immaculate College then is the leading Catholic college of liberal arts and education in Ireland. It's on the Common Application, and it offers a wide range of programs in English literature, languages, history, media and communication studies, theatre, psychology, and many more subjects. So what happens is that students choose 4 subjects at Mary Immaculate College in year 1. And then at the end of year 1, they pick their 2 favourites to go into year 2 with. And they take those 2 subjects to degree level. So you get a dual honours degree when you graduate. But year 3 is the part I want to really talk about today. It's the off-campus year, when students have lots of different options of where to study abroad, or you can do a paid work placement, or because coming from the US, you're already studying abroad and coming to do your degree with us, you're actually allowed to be exempt from year 3 and go straight into year 4. So you can graduate then with a 4-year dual honours degree in your 2 subjects in just 3 years, and you only pay tuition then for 3 years. But tuition is relatively inexpensive in Ireland anyway. It's just about €5,500 per semester, or about $6,500. And housing then is about €2,300 or $2,600 per semester. And US students can use federal aid as well to study with us in Ireland. But of course, since I'm the Director of International Engagement at Mary Immaculate College, and I'm really passionate about this, I definitely recommend taking the opportunity in year 3 to study abroad and take that year or semester in another partner university. So you could do a semester of study abroad and an internship if you want to do just 1 semester, or you can do a full year studying abroad. So in terms of studying abroad, you can study at one of our partner universities. And if you do that, you get an Erasmus grant, which pays for your travel, and it gives you a monthly allowance when you get there. And it's not means tested, or you don't have to apply specifically to get the grant. Everyone who applies to study at one of our partner universities in the EU gets this grant to study there. So I did that myself when I went to study in Italy on my study abroad. So I got the Erasmus grant for that. You can study anywhere else around the world as well. It doesn't have to be just within the EU. And you can go again for a semester or a full year, including the US. And we've many partners that you can study with for a semester or a year if you're studying for your full degree with us. So you can have that on your CV too, that you went to one of those US universities. For example, we're actually partners with Loyola University and Benedictine College, who are on the panel as well. So Angie and Claire are speaking from those. So those universities send us students to study abroad with us in Limerick in Ireland, and we have wonderful partnerships, you know, all around Europe and in Spain as well, where Martha is too. So you pay your tuition at Mary Immaculate College in Ireland, and then you go on exchange with a student at one of those partner universities, which will be your host university then for that semester or a year, and the student who's coming from that university pays the tuition over there. So that's how the exchanges work. So just the next slide there, please, Claire. So it's really a once in a lifetime opportunity to go and live in another country and have everything set up for you. Just the next slide again, Claire, please. I just have some pictures there of our international office and all the support that's available for our students when they're going abroad. So it's something that you might never have the chance to do when you finish college, or if you do go to live and work in another country, you'll have to arrange everything for yourself. Whereas if you study abroad while you're at university, everything is arranged for you, and you have so many people there to support you and help with any questions that you have. So it's a great opportunity to do this while you're doing either your full undergraduate degree with us or studying abroad with us for a semester or a year if you go to one of our partner universities to study. So with that now, I'm going to hand over to my colleagues to talk about their universities. Thanks.
Yes, so thank you, Holly. We love pairing with Mary Immaculate College. Like she said, Benedictine is one of their partner universities, so definitely an opportunity at Benedictine. However, I'll speak a little bit about our Florence, Italy program. So at Benedictine, we have our own campus in Florence, Italy. We're originally located in Atchison, Kansas, which is about an hour north of Kansas City. However, like I said, we send our students to Florence, Italy. We send about 50 students a semester. So that's on the left, one of our larger groups that got to go 1 year at the Vatican. So that is not in Florence, that's in Rome. So like I said, we send about 50 Benedictine students every semester. You do not have to be a Benedictine student to go. However, those students do receive first priority since they are Benedictine students. We have fall, spring, and summer programs. Our fall and spring are going to be full semesters, and our summer program is going to be a shortened 9-week program. So our students are able to have those 3 different opportunities if for some reason studying abroad at a fall or spring semester doesn't work with your course load or sports, so you're able to go in the summer and still receive college credit. I did mention we're in Florence. We're technically set in Settignano, which is 20 minutes outside of Florence by bus. I have a deep affection for Settignano because I did study abroad myself as a college student in the fall of 2018. Our semester programs are shorter semesters, so it's a full semester worth of classes. However, we do not require students to have a visa because our program is only 90 days. So you don't have to worry about that if you plan on coming and leaving right as the program is starting and ending. Our cost to study abroad in Florence is the same as a semester at Benedictine in Atchison. That is about $15,000 for a semester. That includes housing in a 500-year-old monastery. That also includes all of your meals and everything like that. The additional cost of $3,000, so bringing the cost up to about $18,000, is because we include at the beginning of the semester a 10-day trip to Rome. Again, housing, meals, tours, everything like that. Travel expenses are all included, as well as weekend trips to Assisi and Perugia, and Siena and San Galliano. Those are really fun trips. In the bottom left, you're seeing students at Monte Cassino, which is actually the abbey that St. Benedict founded, including in these other photos in Rome. I mentioned that Benedictine does have a short semester, so that 10-day trip, so classes are actually only 80 days long with 3-day weekends. So you're able to fulfill beginner's Italian, so that's going to fulfill your foreign language requirement in Atchison. A European in the Middle Ages course, so that's going to be a history class, as well as just a personal international study reflection. So that's going to be a general studies class. In addition to that, you're going to have an American professor go abroad with the group and teach something within their field. That will be a general studies class. When I studied abroad, I had a philosophy professor go, so I took a philosophy class. We've had chemistry professors go, theology professors go, English, architecture, arts, you name it, we've had a professor go. So lots of opportunities. It's just kind of luck of the draw and what professor goes with you. I mentioned the program's cost a little bit. It costs the same as a normal semester at Benedict. It's about $15,000. Like I said, it includes all of those rooming, meals, all of that kind of stuff. So you don't have to try to figure any of that out on your own. That's going to be done for you through the program. And now I will pass it off. I believe, Angie, you are next.
Hello again, my name is Angie. I'm just reintroducing myself. Let me reintroduce myself. But I will be giving the presentation for Loyola Chicago regarding our study abroad program. I mentioned before, as a Jesuit institution, one of our major tenets is a global perspective. And the best way that we find our students are able to develop that is through study abroad. So we highly recommend study abroad experiences for all majors, because again, we feel like it enhances students' undergraduate experience and it helps them really develop personally. And one of our taglines is to go forth and set the world on fire. We don't mean that literally, but certainly go out and experience the world. Next slide, please, Claire. So this is just a quick overview of just where we are located when we're not experiencing a pandemic. But we typically have over 150 different programs in over 70 different locations. So we're pretty much, our study abroad program is truly global in nature. Next slide. So our largest program for study abroad is our JFRC program, and it is basically Loyola Chicago abroad. We have our own campus in Rome, specifically in the neighborhood of Balduina, which is about a 10-minute bus ride from the Vatican, and it's a full-service campus. So we have all of our academic buildings, we have our residence hall, a dining facility, a fitness center. It's really just Loyola Chicago abroad. But of course, with that added bonus of being able to study in a different country and really take in the Italian culture. Next slide. I'm sorry, I don't mean to sing that. It's just something I do when I'm nervous. So learning things about Angie. But when it comes to our JFRC campus, and I don't know if I mentioned that, I'm going to abbreviate that, but basically it has the most flexibility when it comes to study abroad, because since it is basically our campus abroad, it allows students to take a wide range of different types of courses. With study abroad, we really kind of divide into two different types. You have your core like study abroad experience, which is where you'll take your core classes and you can apply that towards any major. And then we do have some study abroad experiences that are specific to specific majors. So we offer both of those programs throughout our study abroad, all of our study abroad programs, but specifically for our John Felice campus, we have both. And all of the classes are actually taught in English by our faculty, but it certainly behooves you to know a little bit of your home country language, which we highly recommend with all of our students, regardless of their destination. It also includes different internships, service learning, and immersion opportunities. And regularly, our faculty and staff lead students on different excursions in various cities throughout the country of Italy. And let's say you're not able to do one of our long terms, and I don't know why that's an air quote, but our long terms are basically a fall or spring semester. But say you can't commit that that much time to study abroad. We do offer 2 different summer opportunities, which are 5 and 4 weeks respectively. You can do one or both of those. Next slide. And in addition to our own campus, we do have an international center in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. So the difference between having a full-on campus and an international center is that our international center is more in partnership with the local university. It's just as awesome because it's a little bit more immersive in nature because you're actually attending Loyola Chicago, but at the same time, you're going to be at a local university and you're going to be taught by some of the leading Vietnamese scholars. This is also a unique experience because it includes a service learning course. So again, going back to our Jesuit focus on, just serving others, this is a unique opportunity to study abroad where we allow students to do that with their with the Vietnam Center. As is true for all of our programs, we have lots of ways for you to help pay for your study abroad experience. Again, harkening back to that first slide where we said that a lot of students kind of count themselves out when it comes to study abroad because they think, oh my gosh, I can't afford this. Really, it can be pretty affordable for most students, depending on the university program and of course the different aid options. So let's talk about some of those. Next slide, please. So just a quick rundown. With us, we have, of course, financial aid that you can apply towards it. That applies to both state and federal aid. You can apply those to semester and year-long programs. All aid, that includes our institutional aid, as well as federal and state aid, can be applied towards our global centers. That's our Rome and Vietnam campuses, global exchanges, and some of our specific global partner programs. And then, of course, I mentioned it earlier, there are some schools that offer study abroad specific scholarships. And for us, we have the Ricci Scholars, some program specific scholarships, as well as National's Scholar Study Abroad scholarships such as Gilman and Boren. And again, I've been Angie with Loyola Chicago. If you want additional information about our programs, I'll include my contact information in the chat. And now I'm going to toss to one of my other wonderful co-presenters, Martha, to go over her program.
Thank you, Angie. I appreciate that. So I represent the University of Navarra. This is located in northern Spain. And what's a little bit different is that although we do offer study abroad through partnerships with other universities in the United States, I do want to talk about the fact that we offer 4-year degrees, like full degrees, and we also have a foundation program for someone wanting to perfect their Spanish, learn Spanish, get a little bit of academic guidance. The foundation program can be 1 semester or it can be the full year. And you can do that between high school and college. So we offer full degrees, the foundation program, and then study abroad that are specific with every university. Next slide, please. So just a little bit about Navarra. So we're located in northern Spain, in a city called Pamplona. That's where our main campus is. Our School of Engineering is in San Sebastián, which is an hour away on the coast. Pamplona is a city about 200,000. It's very much of a college town. The Navarra region is like in the Pyrenees Mountains. You can see Pamplona, the city where they have the Running the Bulls on the lower left-hand side. And then our university campus is on the right-hand side. We're about 3 hours north of Madrid by train or car, just to give you an idea. Next. So when we're talking about actual degrees, I wanted to show you guys that our schools, we have about 85 different degrees. And some of them, as you can see on the bottom side, are bilingual, which means that at least 50% will be in English and 50% will be in Spanish. We also have some degrees that begin the full first year in English. So for someone who has been studying Spanish, but just doesn't feel confident enough to start right away in Spanish courses, university level, they can take the first full year in English, and then they can transition. Here you can see our beautiful campus. It's pretty modern, although the rest of the city is very rustic and old. The campus is very modern, it's very green. We won a lot of awards for sustainability because we take that very seriously. Next slide, please. So as far as ranking goes, we've been consistently ranked top 5 in Spain. We're the best private university. We are a Catholic university, about 70 years old. As far as employability, we're ranked very, very high as far as colleges and universities go because we have a lot of hands-on exposure for our students. So they get so much experience that a lot of employers come back and they rank us very highly because they realize that we're training and we're forming students very, very well. So not just in theory, but also in practice. Like I said, sustainability is something that we take very seriously. And so we do a good job ranking there too. Our student body is it's 28% actually international at this point. So we do everything possible to bring in international students. And this doesn't represent study abroad students, it represents actual four-year degree students. And we have the same cost for all of our students, regardless of where you're from. Our average tuition is about $13,000 US a year. All right. So for a semester, it comes down to about $7,000 US if you're doing the foundation program. Now, in addition to that, you will be paying for housing separately, which may run you about $9,000 to $10,000. So even with all that taken into consideration, we're about the same as an in-state tuition. Again, like I said, we have a lot of international students. You're going to hear a lot of different languages from a lot of different countries on campus. And we're very proud of that fact, because we believe that really is the best way to enrich the experience. And like I said, the very bottom number is all the agreements we have with universities all over the world. So if you're interested in starting in your home country and then coming to us, look to see if we have an agreement. And if we don't, you can probably still go through your study abroad office and study with us. Next. And here is my information. So my contact is here. It'll be on the next one as well. There's a QR code that you can scan if you want to see an interactive brochure. And if anyone is interested in applying, the website where you want to go is miportal.unav.edu. If you need any more information, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to get you in touch with either myself or your delegate where you're zoned to. And with that, I think we're going to turn it over to a question and answer. So if anyone has anything they want to write in the chat, you'll see on the next page our Q&As, our contacts.
Yes, I thought we'd kick off this Q&A just with a chance for each of us. We all have studied abroad and had that opportunity. Just to kind of speak on our own personal experiences of study abroad. What was the best part of studying abroad for you individually? I'll start since I'm already unmuted. For me, I studied at our campus in Florence. My favorite part of being able to study abroad was knowing the city. I got to live in Florence, take the bus all around. I knew my favorite restaurants. I knew all of my favorite pubs to go to. I knew where all of the museums were. So being able to feel like a local in a city in Italy was just such a unique experience. I could still go back and get tours if I wanted to. I've done that for friends. I've like shown them maps and said, okay, this is where you need to go. These are the best restaurants to go to. So just being able to feel like a local, even though I was abroad. If someone else wants to jump in and give one of their
Well, you took the words out of my mouth, Claire. I was going to say something very similar because I also studied in Florence for my year off campus. And I think the best thing about it was really getting to know the city and being in a place for so long and, you know, making friends and feeling at home, and then being able to always go back and visit there again in the future. And just, you know, having friends for life. And I still talk about it so many years later. And I'd say any interview I've ever been in, people have picked up on that on my CV and asked about the time I lived in Italy. So I think it's just an invaluable experience. There's so many highlights to it, but I definitely think getting to know the place was probably the best.
I'm going to jump in, and I am kind of unique in that I didn't have a formal study abroad experience while I was in college, but I will share my experience of my father dropping me off and helping me get lost in Nigeria as an adult while I was in college. I mentioned earlier that I used to travel with him to Nigeria when I was a child, but there was a big gap between like the last time that I visited as a child and when I was a 21-year-old adult in college. And so there's about 10 years there. And so when I went back to visit my family there for the holidays, he was there. I was under the impression that he's my dad. So he was going to be my main guide. He grew up. I'd actually become quite familiar with Lagos, the capital city in Nigeria, but he's originally from Enugu, which is a village many hours away. And so I wasn't as familiar. And so he thought it would be fun. And he really meant the best out of this, but he was just like, you really need to know how to get around around here. Like, I'm not always going to be here, and I really want you to fall in love with the village and stuff. So he just, had me go out on my own and really kind of make my way around the city and go and, take in some of like the different restaurants and stuff like that. And I'll be really honest, I was terrified at first because I was like, I've never really been anywhere in the village without my dad. And it was such, after that initial terror, the first 5-10 minutes, it was such a wonderful experience because first and foremost, like if you know anything about Igbo culture, like everybody wants to help. And it was very welcoming. I found it a lot warmer than some of the large cities that I've been in the United States even. And so it was just like, do you need help? Let me, show you around, or like, where can I take you? And it was like, people were trying to take me home to their families. I don't know, all of them had the best intentions, but it made for a really great day. And when he came back, and to be absolutely fair, he didn't completely leave me by myself. Like there was a cousin who lived in that part of the village that if like I really need help, I could go to. But after I was done, I was just like, I don't need you. I can, I wanted to actually be on my own more during that trip to the village. So anyways, that was a long-winded way of saying that was my kind of different study abroad, non-formal study abroad experience in college.
I couldn't agree more. Getting lost in the city, which parents don't love to hear, but is such an invaluable tool to be able to just kind of be able to see, how do I react under pressure? Can I do this? It's such a growth opportunity. I had many experiences like that, particularly in Barcelona. Next, Martha was going to chime in, but unfortunately she had to butt out real quick. With that, I don't think we have any questions in the chat. I'm not missing anything. Am I correct? All of our contact information is here. Feel free to either write that down or take a screenshot. We would all love to help you guys figure out what is the next step in college, as well as studying abroad or learning abroad. So feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions, and we'll be able to point you in the right direction or help you at our individual universities. So with that, I think we'll wrap up just a few minutes early.
Well, thank you all so much for presenting, and thank you everyone for joining us. When you go to close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 5-question survey, and we'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. And we encourage you to check back at the schedule and sign up for more sessions. And you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all of the other sessions recordings at strivescan.com/NCCAA. So thanks again, everyone. Have a good rest of your evening. Bye.
Bye, Angie and Claire. Lovely to meet you.